Hello and welcome to this new installment of a fairly brand new podcast, Tones of the Hammer, where we discuss everything to do with music, creative stuff in Hamilton and the surrounding area. And today, I'm lucky enough to have on the Tones of the Hammer couch probably the coolest punk band since Blink-182. I don't know.
Well, that's bold.
That is bold. That is bold.
We're here to review John's feet.
Yes.
There it is.
I like your feet in there, mate.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's summertime.
It is summertime. That
Sun's
is
out.
true.
Sun's out, feet's out.
Fungs out.
That is indeed. But everybody, this is Sessions. Guys, how's it going? Thank you so much
Hello.
for coming down.
Thanks for having us, Danny.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys are the coolest punk band I think I have ever met while I've been here.
So many.
Are we the only one?
Yeah.
No, actually, there's been others. But you're the greatest hang, guys. I gotta say.
Oh, I bet there'd be a lot of people that would disagree with that statement.
Why? That sounds like you've got a bit of a reputation going on here, John.
Well, no. I mean, like, maybe like a decent hang, but like definitely not the coolest.
Being
I
a
think
decent hang is probably a better compliment than being
That is,
a-
I
a
agree.
good band.
Yeah,
Or
totally.
being cool.
I mean,
Like
that's
being like a
half
good
of the
hang.
thing, right? That's half of the challenge is being
Yeah.
a good hang as a band. So I think,
That's right.
and I think you've got it down. You know.
Well, that's cool. Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
That's cool.
Preach.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
That's cool. So anybody that's watching this for the first time, I like to get bands on from the surrounding area as a new person to Canada and Hamilton and the Hamilton area to basically find out all about the music scene around here. You guys have been in... Well, tell us about Sessions. When did the band Sessions start and all of that sort of stuff?
No, you take this one.
Come on.
You were better at this. Okay. In February of 2020,
Wow, as new as that. I didn't even
as new as
realize
that,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
We were just jamming to play a cover set
Mhm.
at a birthday party. We weren't even a band. Rick just asked us, our drummer Rick just asked us if we'd play this show for one of his family friends or something. And we're like, sure, why not? And halfway through like the third jam, we were like, you guys want to just keep doing this?
Sick.
Like, John's got songs, I got songs. Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Did COVID happen first, though? Like, did we start jamming and then we're like, I guess we're not going to do a cover set?
No.
then
Once
we
we
were like,
decided
oh, yeah.
to be a band, it was like March, whatever the fuck day COVID shut
Right.
down.
Oh,
Right. Yeah.
really, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we tried to jam throughout, but it was pretty tough.
Yeah, so you kind of had to wait like a year and a half to actually be a
Yeah.
band in a way. Yeah.
It was cool though, because we had time to like, it gave us a lot of time to like write stuff, so we could kind of like
course, yeah.
we could fart around. Like, he had ideas that he was working on, and I had stuff that I was demoing, and like we couldn't jam them, but like we're like, rather than like let's be a band and write songs, it's like we had a good amount of time to I think get some songs that we really liked.
Yeah, and the rule was no old stuff.
No
you gotta,
old stuff.
You got to write new stuff.
Ah, sick.
Yeah, no existing ideas.
But I think
So-
at this point, there's like one or two songs I want to bring back.
Do you?
All right,
Yeah.
this sounds
Yeah.
like the next record already, Brando.
Next record's pretty much
Yeah, we're done already.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to the
pretty
new
much
album.
done. We just got to start jamming it.
We're
Yeah.
gonna get to the new album for sure because I love
Yeah, we have
it.
a new one.
I absolutely love it. Actually, let's get to it now. Let's
Thanks,
touch on it
mate.
now. Let's tease it a little bit now.
Yeah.
So you've got a brand new album out.
Yes.
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 So
Yeah.
what's the story behind that? Is there a story? I feel like the band getting together is kind of like a happy accident. Is that what the album follows? A bit of a happy accident?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think when we got together, we were like, after we jammed a couple times for like, but like, he's a writer, I'm a writer, and we're like, we both like, we're not great musicians. So like playing other people's songs
Beg
are,
to differ,
but
gentlemen.
playing other people's songs is actually really hard.
I got
So
you.
we're
I
like,
hate it.
let's write our own songs.
Well, that's great
more in
because
our
some
wheelhouse.
people struggle on the other end of that, right? A lot of
Sure.
the time with bands and even singer-songwriters
Yeah.
sort of thing, you know? So
Yep.
count-
Yeah.
count
And
yourselves
then
lucky.
yeah, I think we wrote a bunch of songs, and we got asked to play a festival in 2022 in Hamilton, in Toronto. Because we all come from other bands, and we've been around for a while. So I think people knew that we were kind of starting to play and tease that we were going to be a band. And then we played a couple songs, and then we were like, people seem to actually kind of like this, so we should probably
Take
record
it
them.
seriously sort of thing.
Or ish.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, let's actually record some stuff so people know the songs
Yeah,
when they're coming
yeah.
to see us play.
Yeah.
and here we are.
That's so
Think
sick.
of that set. We had one cover.
Yeah, we
We did a
did.
Gaslight Anthem cover.
We did. Yeah,
Nice.
a deep cut.
Deep cut.
The patient
Like
Ferris
6
wheel.
people knew what it was.
I think
4 of us were on stage.
yeah, and then the Penske file guys,
Yeah.
they knew it. That was
Yeah, because of course, we're here in Halo Studios in downtown Hamilton. Is Tones of the Hammer HQ, and we had the Penske Files in a few weeks ago. Actually,
There we
go.
Yeah. Another great hang.
Those guys are the best. And
Yeah,
they're-
they are
and
cool.
they're really good at their instruments.
Yes, they are. They are super cool.
They're very good
They were
band.
very good, and we had Zach. Because do you know Zach? Do you know Zach who works with?
He used to
I
work
do.
with Walk Off.
Yes,
Yeah, I think
yes.
he's still.
I
I
think
think
he
he's still on.
still
does,
board.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
I think
still
he's still out
does.
with them.
Yeah, so he came down, and they sounded killer, man. So
Yeah.
good. Yeah, so
Yeah.
good. It's great to have him down. So, guys, you have been on the scene fairly new sessions, but
Yeah.
for instance, Brandon, you were a solo artist at one point in Hamilton, right?
Was solo before this and basically was done with it.
Done with it. So,
Like, the
when,
December before we all started this,
yeah,
I was done.
yeah, I got you.
Fucking so done
So
with it.
you were a solo artist up to like 2020. Then you were still rocking on your own.
Yeah, I
solo.
mean, I started with a pop punk band back in the early 2000s.
Gotcha.
That's how John and I met.
Nice.
97.7 Rock Search champions.
Oh yeah, that did
They
a
were.
lot. That did a lot for my career.
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? That's still a pretty good accomplishment.
yeah.
And we got to play the hardball with you guys in Milton as part of your victory. That was your victory show. Because they would always do like the hairball at the hardball. And then you guys were like, it was us and Video Dead. And you're like, you guys just want to come play this 97.7 Rock thing? And we're like, sure.
We used to
I
get buses
love-
back in those days.
We did.
Ship
So
them down
cool.
to St. Catharines.
I
Yeah.
just love the spontaneity of all these like bands and ideas coming together with you guys. You know, it just seems to be it seems to be more like about, you know, rather than, I think some people take themselves so serious as bands, right? And you guys seem to just kind of, it's kind of the opposite way around. It's like, oh yeah, we should probably take this serious because people are loving us and streaming his new album and all this sort of stuff. You know, it's
It's hard to take yourself seriously when you're really mid. So it's like
really mid. I love that description.
just like even as people too.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, totally.
what are you up to? It's like not much.
Totally,
Working.
totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course.
This
yeah.
isn't a job yet.
Yeah.
But we've been around, like there's been like the 905 scene was like a pretty vibrant musical
Mhm.
community when we grew up, which we were really lucky to be a part of.
So
And
you're gonna have to explain to the new guy the 905 scene.
so at 905 area code,
I
is,
got
like,
you. Okay.
Hamilton, Burlington,
Okay.
and stuff like
And
that.
I hear from some other artists that we've been talking to, that like there's a big starter for like punk music in itself right around here. Is Hamilton seems to be a big
For sure.
birth of a lot of that.
Huge,
sort of stuff,
like,
right?
in,
which
like-
I never even realized. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, in the 80s, like Teenage Head and Forgotten Rebels and bands like that were
Mm-hmm.
influential punk rock bands. And then in the early 90s, you know, like Grade invented screamo music,
Yes.
which is like pretty wild.
Yeah, that was the fact that I
Yeah.
heard essentially. Yeah.
And then from that, it's, you know, members of that band started, you know, an awesome band called Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were these other great bands that were all, and like it all featured members from then other future bands like Outspan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sean McNabb then went to Jersey and then started the Creep Show, which has been
Wow,
obviously
man,
an
yeah,
active band. And then from Grade starting that, you got bands like Boys Night Out and Silverstein. Like
Mhm.
Silverstein's still an active
Yeah.
and very, very successful, awesome band. And Alexis on Fire, which,
Mhm.
you know, St. Catharines, so
Yeah.
just a little bit over, but like, you know, influenced that. And I mean, like Jordo's from our scene, so the
Yeah.
drummer is
Mhm.
from Burlington.
Even Finger 11,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually
Yeah.
fucking giant.
so we've had many conversations to what started our little scene,
Mhm.
and in a drunken conversation with a bud, we rooted it back to the Finger 11 when they were the Rainbow Butt Monkeys playing at Sound of Music Festival,
Specifically,
Rainbow Butt
the
Monkeys.
City
Nice.
Hall stage.
the City Hall stage.
Yes.
It was a
Right.
big.
We were all in grade 8, and we
Yeah.
all decided we needed to be in band.
Yeah.
Ah,
Well, because it was wild. Because you'd be like, all right, here's this big free music festival, and like Kim Mitchell's playing and whatever, and you know,
And she played this year, right? Kim Mitchell.
well, it,
yeah.
that's
Kim Mitchell's a
that's
dude.
he.
Yeah. Oh,
But,
sorry.
yeah.
Oh my god. That's how. This is what. So I've said this to
There you
everybody:
go.
is Canadian music doesn't translate across the UK as much. You've got your big acts like that, your big like record deal kind
but
of. But
not the like the punk rock bands did though. Like
Right,
Alexis on
okay.
Fire and Silverstein.
Yes,
and bands
Alexis
like that.
on Fire for
Like,
sure.
They're big
yeah.
over there. you
Yeah,
know?
for
so
sure.
our scene did. Maybe the rest of the Canadian music didn't, but our scene did.
Gotcha.
Which is cool.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I remember like we'd all go down as kids, and you go down with your parents, and then I remember like it was like this word of mouth thing. There's like there's this band, like there's a Burlington band.
Yeah.
They're from Burlington, and they're playing the City Hall stage. And I remember it being like this huge deal at school. So everybody went to go see it. And I don't know if because we went to different public schools. I don't know if yours was like that, but when we all went to school, it was like, oh my God, that band from Burlington. And they were amazing.
Yeah,
because
we had the music video. We had Circles was the one, and
that's right.
that was like
That was it.
every day on Much Music.
Yeah. And then
when you're a kid in your grade 8,
Yeah,
you had Much
yeah.
Music, which
Yeah.
was like a video.
Totally,
like
yeah.
MTV,
Yeah.
MTV.
Kerrang and all that stuff.
And then they became Finger 11, which
Yeah.
obviously became you probably knew them over there.
Never, no.
Come on,
Maybe before my time, a little bit.
Danny,
a
what
little
kind
bit.
of music-
Paralyzer, you've heard that song.
I might have to play it.
Paralyzed
And I'll be struck by you.
You know that song.
Yeah,
Danny,
not that rendition.
what did you
No.
listen to growing up?
Growing up,
Yeah.
I was I have a brother that's 5 years older than me, so
Wait, how old are you?
I'm newly turned 28, so
Aw,
just
happy
recently.
birthday,
So
buddy.
it's,
Yeah.
it's still
You made it past
babyish,
27.
which is good.
That's the big one.
Which is good.
Yeah.
That is the big
So
one.
that puts your
Everybody's-
brother at, let's do some math here, 33.
Yes, I guess
Alright.
so. Yeah, 33. But he brought me into like all the bands like Linkin Park and Slipknot and all those kind
Yeah.
of new metal, Limp Bizkit sort of stuff, you know,
Yeah.
which was big in the UK. But back then that I was kind of influenced a lot by what my brother was listening to, because he just took the TV channel and put
Yeah.
Kerrang on basically. Or,
Yeah.
Bring Me the Horizon's big over
Yes, yeah,
So
they're
that-
from near me, I think.
Yeah.
Sheffield.
there. Yeah.
Yes, so
Yeah.
that's the town right next to me. Yeah.
They're an amazing band.
Yes.
But they also started
Yeah.
in like the hardcore scene that
Gotcha,
a lot
yeah.
of, spawned out of our little scene.
Oh, sick. It's so cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
never realized that Hamilton had got that kind of music history. So we're talking like early 2000s for all this kind of stuff. Are we
Even
90s?
before.
Even before.
Even
like,
before, right.
Grade, I think, was called Incision before.
Yeah.
So they were like 94. And then when they like really sort of made that sound,
Yeah.
I think Separate the Magnets was 96, maybe
Yeah.
97. I'm sure somebody watching this
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be a Pierce is going to be like, fuck you, Fielding, you were wrong. It was this date, but I did pretty good.
Totally.
And
totally.
I'm drinking a Smirnoff Ice.
You
So
are,
How
man.
about that?
This guy is living the dream. That's
man.
what he's doing.
That's all we could find.
That's all we can find.
That's all we could find.
That's right. The strike.
Yeah,
and
it's
everything.
hard to get a drink here in Ontario, right? Especially compared to back home. Yeah, it's hard to get
That's
a
right.
drink. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
But yeah, I mean, so we grew up watching a lot of these bands, and then of course, you see these bands doing it and going to local shows.
Mhm.
And there were shows every weekend at the
glory
Polish,
days.
at the Polish Hall and the Music Center, and then YMCA.
Yeah.
So naturally, when you're watching it, you're
Mhm.
like, I want to do
Want to be
that.
part of that? Yeah.
And then
And then 2020.
And Much Music is pushing Green Day and Offspring and
Yeah.
Nirvana,
Yeah.
and you're just like, give me a fucking guitar.
Yeah,
exactly.
totally. And 2020 was the year for sessions, and I take it eventually.
It took us that long.
Yeah.
It took us
Yeah.
almost like 35 years.
John and I have
Totally.
been doing this and have known each other for 25
Yeah.
years.
That's true. Yeah.
yeah.
What his pop punk band, the Spacolis, used to play every weekend with my pop punk band out of
Right.
Options, and we did some tours together. We did spring break together
Mhm.
for that MTV thing or
Nice.
whatever
Yep.
it was, and we all I think toured. We played a lot together, and we've all just that's how we became like best buds.
Totally,
Yeah,
yeah.
we never did anything together though.
Yeah.
Him and I.
Well, creatively, like I produced your
Yes.
solo stuff.
Yeah, but we actually know what you did play in when I did my solo stuff.
I did, yeah.
Um,
And your
when I
solo
did it
stuff,
live, like,
Brandon,
twice.
was it
Go
kind
ahead.
of like similar sort of genre, or is it more singer-songwriter vibes that you'd imagine, or?
I wouldn't say singer songwriter
Yeah.
vibe. I would say like radio friendly acoustic.
Okay,
Yeah.
stuff,
okay,
yeah.
so
But
total,
there's some
yeah.
rock stuff though too.
There's some rock
some
stuff.
rock tunes.
Yeah, yeah.
A
for
contrast to sessions, though, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Which...
like not super far.
Okay,
I'd say
No.
like we're like Sessions probably more punk leaning,
yeah,
but like there's songs that like are not that far away from what Sessions are
No,
doing.
but you always said like we could turn those into country songs, no problem. And
we could.
So there's
absolutely,
there's a
yeah.
Sessions country album in there somewhere. Then I think between the both of you,
Yeah.
you
Maybe
know?
on the next one we'll have some
Yeah,
prettier slow. So
we'll
who
lay
knows?
some pedal steel down. Or
Well,
something.
your voice would work for it. Mine would not. I can basically only sing punk music.
That's not true. Because
Nah.
you'll hear when we do the acoustic thing how
Oh yeah.
Yes.
how the harmonies together. Him and
Great
I.
segue
Yeah.
there, Brandon.
Yeah.
We've just done a live session with the Session guys, and it'll be available somewhere up here in the metaverse of YouTube. It's usually that way, so it's over
It's
there
that way.
somewhere.
Subscribe.
Yeah,
Like and
subscribe.
subscribe.
Like and
watch
subscribe.
the live session because it's amazing. It's amazing. These guys are amazing. I had no idea about Hamilton music. It's just and even it amazes me since I've been here the amount of like stuff I don't know about Canadian music and these little pockets of scenes that have kind of existed and stuff. It blows my mind.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you think about how people consumed music for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Discovery mediums for years were, terrestrial radio or
Yeah.
music videos and stuff like that. So there was a very fixed amount of bands and artists that had global presence because, they were picked or pushed and
Yeah.
whatnot. And then everything else was localized.
Yeah.
Because there's no other way that like we'd hear about
Yeah.
underground UK bands and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
or you would know about this stuff. I mean, even like the bands that we really got into, like outside of the big mainstream ones like Green Day and Blink, like we had to go discover a lot of them. Like, we're big, NoFX fans, No Use for a Name and Millencolin and stuff like that. And like before like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater game came out, you had to kind of dig to find these bands. It would be like skateboard magazines or
who are the bands thanking?
yeah.
on
Oh
the,
yeah, that's a good one
on the back
Yeah.
of the CD.
Yeah.
CDs
Yeah.
too. Remember?
And you go to live shows and like
And then Warped Tour happens, and you're like, oh, they're all in one place.
They're all in one place.
Yeah.
And it's also like your personal shopping mall too, where you can get your entire wardrobe.
Absolutely, for the summer
That's right.
or for school.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You have a cool new band tee for picture day.
Which is so that's quite an insight, I think, into the way that I guess how the difference between the early 2000s, how streaming and the internet has taken over. It's a total different thing to be in a band and get streams. Now you've got a bit of an insight into this, John. You've worked with record labels and all sorts of different, the big wigs sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's also good to touch on when we get people here. I like to touch on the fact of the struggles of being in a band, I guess. So for you guys, you've seen both sides of it. You've been in, bands back in the early 2000s before the internet was totally what it is now as a tool and how it's decided with TikTok and all that sort of stuff with bands. So how do you find it now being in a band, trying to promote your music, trying to do things, compared to how it was,
It's really different because there's so many moving parts now.
Yes.
Versus before, it was just you put a record out, you go on tour, you hopefully have infrastructure and label support and things like that, and then money to be put behind you. But I mean, even for those companies that are promoting stuff, because it's so wide open, it's a lot harder for them to have success too. But then because you can't just be like, all right, we're gonna promote this, we're gonna put it everywhere, we're gonna put it on the radio, we're gonna put it on TV.
Yeah.
And then it's got a good shot.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is with everything being sort of globalized and available online, it's created a lot more opportunity for artists and bands.
People that might not have had the opportunity back in the early 2000s now have the chance, yeah.
And it's, there's so many different levels. Like there's so many artists that have like fantastic careers that like I don't know about.
Yeah.
And I think,
that's a good point, actually. I've seen every time it blows my mind. Even at the minute with Sabrina Carpenter and Espresso, as soon as I heard that track, I was like, oh, it must be a new artist. I looked at her Instagram.
She was on Boy Meets World.
It blows
Girl
my
Meets World.
Girl Meets World,
blows my mind. She's like 2 million, millions of, and I've never heard a song, never heard of her, or it blows my mind. Maybe I lived under a rock, I don't know, but it
same
blew
with
my mind.
we were talking about the bands that you grew up with and the exclusive UK bands.
Yes.
I listened to Shane Toll's podcast, and he's got these guys on from the UK who are selling out stadiums.
Totally.
Yeah.
Never heard of them.
Yeah,
Never heard of one of them.
Totally.
I have.
I know. Well, you get paid to.
That's fair.
these guys.
But
Yes.
But that was my point, is that there's tons of artists that I don't know about, that it's like all this, like I'll go out and it's like, you gotta go check these guys out. I've never heard of them before, and they're selling 3,500 tickets a show in a market that it's like, this is their first show here. It's like, what? It's wild. So like, I think, it's harder in the sense of that there isn't a blueprint.
Yeah.
Like there used to be to just go and do this. But it's better and easier because there's so many more exposure points and opportunities for artists. It's about, getting creative and finding your inroads. And it also like really underscores that like quality works. Yeah. Because everybody's getting hit with so much shit.
Yeah, totally.
You like before you could just, you're only going to hear about, 10 new artists in a year or whatever, because that's whatever. Yeah. You're hearing, like, I'm hearing about hundreds of new artists. And
on that, with it being like that, do you think this whole kind of like more short-term kind of in-your-face flash, keeping on top of content, do you think, and again, as somebody who works with probably artists that, have to, market and strategize for these sort of things, do you think it's a good thing for the way the industry's going with this? Do you think it's, do you think it's like a bubble that's going to burst in a way, sort of thing?
It's tough to say, because I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah. But it basically, what it does is it underscores society's attention span. Yeah. Like, it's not like, of course, like kids are, scrolling and TikToking and stuff like that, but like, so are we. Yeah. And like our parents are kind of doing that too, where it's like,
some parents are as bad as kids now, right?
For sure. And it's, so what it's done is it's changed the lifespan of, say, a song or a record or whatever, where people have to be really prolific, and they have to constantly kind of continue to feed demand. But then the other side of it is, when you have something that connects because of technology algorithmically, it'll continue to then serve your content to more and more people that haven't ingested it. So it just kind of continues to roll and continues to roll and continues to roll. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily good or bad, and it's tough to.
It's just different, right?
It's just different, yeah. And like you'll always have naysayers that are gonna go, "Oh, it sucks. I wish it was the old days," and this and this and this. But you're gonna get that, whether it's music or whether it's movies or whether it's whatever. Like, people age out of that exciting moment, and they or the sort of main cohort that is your mass consumer, because life gets in the way of living. And then the second that it does, you quickly become that person that goes, "Oh, that sucks," or "That's dumb that they do it like this," because you don't get it. Yeah, because it's moved past you.
Yeah, and it's so hard to, I guess everybody in a way can end up being guilty of that, because it's so hard to keep up with stuff. It's like, I think even as we're all artists in our own way here, and the thing is,
you're a great artist, by the way. You write really good songs.
Thanks, dude. Thank you, man.
Pretty voice, Danny.
Hopefully get them out. Get some new stuff out. Fingers crossed soon.
Not fingers crossed. Just do it.
It's happening. It's
there you go.
The works.
I don't know how to work the control board, but if you need me to engineer,
dude,
I'll do. You did it for us. I'll do it for you.
Yeah, that could be like an experiment.
Do you guys know that Danny worked on our new record?
He did. Yeah.
Yes.
He also mixed the opening song, which is the title track to it. And
Brandon,
really
you
good.
are so killer with these segues, man. So
I should
killer.
have a podcast.
Like, you totally should.
You should have.
You should take this one, man. You should take this one, totally. But yes,
no
the
way,
new
it's
album.
too far. The traffic fucking sucked.
Yes, too right. But yes, the new album. I was lucky enough for these guys to ask me to mix their opening track. But yeah, the new album. How's it going? Where's the inspiration? Because I wanted to delve more into your guys' songwriting. Because I feel like, of course, we've got Matty and Rick that are not with us today. I'm gonna put the face somewhere over there, just in the background for a second.
The brothers Babs.
Yes.
Can you do like a stand-in?
Yeah,
stand
totally. Yeah.
AI some.
Yeah. We'll pop them in and wave or something. Yeah. So I see you guys as like the Mick and the Keith of the songwriters of the band, if I'm correct. Is that right? You know?
That's a big compliment.
The Mick and Keith are kind of...
Mick and Keith? I think it's more like John and Paul.
Yeah, John and Paul.
We're bigger Beatles fans, for sure.
I'm a Rolling
Tom
Stones
and Mark.
guy.
Or Tom and Mark.
Tom and Mark.
Yeah.
I'm a Rolling Stones guy myself. So that's why I went for Mick and Keith. But
So do you prefer the
Either
Rolling
way.
Stones or the Beatles?
I do, yeah, man.
Oh,
I
this
do.
interview's over.
It's done. It's done. Let's get out of here.
How does this guy respect himself as a musician?
There's just so much more rock and roll, man. You know,
and
it's more
generic.
I just feel like
you know what? It is like it's like comparing like the two
It
best
is,
apples.
it
ever.
is.
Yeah,
And
they're
of
all
course-
fucking 90, dude.
Yeah, I know, but still rocking it. Still
true.
still selling tickets.
No,
and-
I know. They're legends. It's the Beatles
Totally.
are the Beatles are near and dear to me. So that's
Totally,
like a
and
difference.
it's one of those. It is a hard decision because I feel like there is no matter these people that you meet that say, "Oh, I don't like the Beatles, I hate them." There's no way that anybody can deny they've had influence on every musician in the world in one way or the other, right?
Are you into harmonies and pop?
Yes,
Because
exactly.
I'm more of a Beatles guy.
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, that's
Well,
it. Yeah,
and I mean even like they created modern day song structure because prior to that it was Tim
Yeah.
Pan Alley. Like there wasn't
Totally.
pre-choruses. It was
Yeah.
just A B A B.
Totally.
And that was it. And also multi-track recording.
yes,
They essentially had to pioneer that around their.
totally.
So I mean George Martin and his team obviously
Yeah.
perfect, but like
yeah.
let's not underplay that.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Because
And
we
that-
would not have a good sounding record without them because we are not good enough musicians.
Yeah, we have lots of technology to sort that stuff
Thank
out.
God.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Thank God.
But
You're
yeah,
good enough. I'm not.
Oh, well, thanks.
you're
But
both great. You're both great. If you watch that live session, you'll see how great they both are because they killed it. They killed it.
watch the live session.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, let's get into your songwriting kind of. Is there a process? Is it just kind of we sit down with beers and we just see what comes out? Is there
we
like...
don't write together.
No.
Oh,
much, no.
right.
No.
Interesting. Okay.
No.
So it's kind of like one song's Brandon's, one song's yours. And...
That's that's kind of a lie, but
Right.
like he writes by himself. He'll come with a full song. I'll come with a full song, and
Yeah.
once we're together, it's like
Then we were, yeah.
build and build and build, and Maddie and Rick will
Yeah.
throw their 2 cents in. And
Yeah.
yeah. But like I guess if you look at the credits, it's like song by John, song by me.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
But
Totally.
yeah, no, but it's like there's a lot of collaboration once the idea, and like some ideas are more flushed out when they come in, some are not that flushed out at all, and then
Yeah.
it becomes the song that it's become and whatnot. And like Rick and Matt are, they're great collaborators too because they're huge music fans, and
Yeah.
they have a lot of great input especially with bringing an idea and especially if it's not working.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're overthinking this, you're doing that. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it's easy to do, right? When you're getting, we were talking about this, John, just
Yeah.
before we started the interview. How you, especially when it's your own music, you're very critical.
Yeah.
You've just listened to death with it, and yeah.
Well,
you
and
know.
that's one of the best parts about collaborating with people
Mhm.
is you have, on top of them being a part of what you're doing, you have outside perspective and outside ears to what you're working on. And I mean, like, I think of even some of our demos with that, like I listen to like even the drum parts that Rick put
Yeah.
on the songs, like the drumming on that record, like I message him all the time because when you listen to it, I'm like,
Yeah.
this shit's phenomenal.
Yeah,
dude. Like,
dude.
it's so
It's
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
Recorded right in this spot.
Right, like literally right
Literally
here.
in this spot. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, literally in this spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a killer record, guys. I've just listened and listened to it. I absolutely love it. I think as well, I think with punk bands sometimes some punk bands have the habit of kind of, you can listen to a full album and feel like you've listened to the same song, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, I think there's so many it's a roller coaster of like different vibes and stuff. I love it. I think it's super super great.
I think
yeah.
that's the beauty of writing separately too,
yeah.
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
one of
that's a
my
good
songs
point,
can sound
actually.
completely different than John's song,
Totally.
Yeah.
and then you flick to the next one and it's like a totally different
Yeah.
vibe and whatever. But we didn't
Mm-hmm.
have rules
No.
when we started. Like,
Mhm.
who fucking wants to hear the same
Yeah,
song
totally.
over
And
and
how
over again?
and how did you guys decide that it was time for an album rather than like just putting single and single out?
Well, I think at that point,
Everything was recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I got you.
Well,
yeah.
and I think that
So
like,
in a way, you got too many songs recorded that you had to make an album. Yeah.
well, there's that, and I mean, like I talked to these guys before, where
Yeah.
it's like we could have just tracked it and dropped it as a record, but as a new band, it's like, well, we feel strongly enough about all of these songs. Why don't we give them all a shake on their own?
Mhm.
And for us, that also gives us, going back to how people consume music,
Yeah.
like it gives us more exposure points.
Yeah,
for
of
people
course.
to listen to our music, and then also for us to be coming with something new. Because
Yeah.
if we just put out a song, put out another song, and drop the record,
Yeah.
that would be kind of it.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, oh fuck, all right,
Yeah,
we
totally,
gotta go
totally.
again.
Yeah.
So this way, it's like, you know, it allowed us to sort of stretch it out over like a year. It allowed each song to kind of live a bit of a life of its own.
Totally. Yeah.
And then even now, it's like we're talking about a new record,
Mhm.
but like, you know, the first song came out like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it.
You know, it amazes me that with albums, they're kind of like, you know, I think sometimes you have bands where it's like, oh, they release an album, but the span of that release, you don't realize sometimes how long. You know, I think for me the example would be like, I think Arctic Monkeys AM. I think they first released either Are You Mine or Why Do You Want to Call Me When You're High? And I think until they released the album, it was something like a year later or something that
You
they
got those
released
two
it.
singles only.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
those songs
yeah.
were everywhere
Yeah.
too. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
exactly. That's what I mean.
You know what's wild though too is like that's a band that, you know, I certainly always like big fan of
Totally.
and loved and whatever. And
Yeah.
I remember when that record came out, that was like 2013 or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Those songs were everywhere, and they're a band that's leveraged technology
Mhm.
to push their hits again.
Yeah.
Where like my kids
Yeah,
like those songs
yeah,
because they're trending on TikTok now.
yeah.
Not even like the new ones. It's
Wow.
like those ones. And
That's
like
so interesting.
and
yeah.
and also it takes not only a strategic person but a humble person creatively to say, you know what, those ones still probably have the best shot
Yeah.
to connect with a younger demo versus the new record that
Yeah.
we did. We're gonna double down on that.
Yeah, totally.
And then because of that, then you know their new record probably
Yeah.
got more exposure. I actually
Yeah.
went to go see that show,
Nice.
and there were so many young kids. Like
yeah, they're
it
just
was
so cool.
it was mostly Gen Z, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. So the Arctic Monkeys are literally like a 5-minute drive away. They grew up a 5-minute drive away from where I live back
That's
in the
cool.
UK. So yeah, they're from Sheffield. I'm from Barnsley, which is the town next. But they're
them
our
and
side.
Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah, and Bring Me the Horizon. Yeah,
Sheffield
and-
kills.
Yeah, what are they?
Yeah.
The 905 of
They are, yeah.
the UK.
So yeah, it's the
Okay.
Arctic Monkeys have 0114 because it's the Sheffield area code. He puts it on with masking tape on his thing. But they were so cool. The Arctic Monkeys with, like you said, with the sharing, John. Even now, so the Arctic Monkeys record was the I think it was the fastest selling debut album of all time in the UK when it came out.
the
That was
first,
a
the
good
first one.
record.
Yeah, the first
That
ever
record-
one.
The first
And
one's
that-
amazing.
That was
rips.
all due to
Yeah.
like file sharing on MySpace,
And
as
they're-
far as I was aware. Yeah.
Original members. It's only one left or two
No,
left?
no, I think three original members. The bass
Okay.
player is the only one that the bass player quit in the beginning or something like that. So
Silly man.
yeah, but great band
Yeah.
nonetheless. So we touched on the Hamilton music scene a little bit earlier. And I just wanted to say, as a band that's formed now in 2020, you've been in bands, of course, over many years before. What are you finding now as the difference between, post-pandemic, being a band? Are you guys like, trying to gig a lot? Are you trying to how's the Hamilton scene, the Toronto scene? How for a newbie, how would you explain the state of things? I guess is the way to put it.
We
That's
don't
good timing.
That was crisp.
we don't gig that much. We haven't anyway. I think we should and probably will start doing it more,
Yeah.
especially now that we have the record done and we will be putting out some vinyl really soon and
Yeah.
want to get those in people's hands. And the only way to
Yeah.
really do it is to either sell it online, but
Gotcha.
play shows and get it out there.
Yeah. And for you guys, do you still check out shows and things local, if it's local bands, grassroots venues and stuff?
I do. I'm at shows like
Yeah.
3 to 5 days.
And
a week.
you're more Toronto way, right, John?
Yeah.
Are you both Toronto way?
I'm in Mississauga.
Right.
I'm in the
Okay.
middle.
Yeah. So how are the grassroots venues and stuff since the pandemic? Because I've heard a lot of artists say that, for instance, Hamilton had a lot of places shut down of COVID, etc., and it's slowly building up, and you're seeing little pockets of scenes coming in, and people trying to do stuff, etc. So how's things throughout? How's things?
Well, the live music is very vibrant.
Yeah.
Like I think people were locked inside for so long.
Yeah,
that,
they're
like,
dying to get out.
dying to get out. So yeah, like obviously some there's a lot of venues and whatnot that are still recovering. You know, people are active, people are going out, people are, I think, taking in, I think there's probably a lot of people that are taking in more shows than they did before.
Yeah.
And that's becoming more habitual for them, which is great. In terms of us, like, I think, like, going back to what Brandon said about us not having any rules, the other thing that we sort of talked about when we were going to start doing this project was not doing anything that we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we probably should play more shows, but we don't. There's show offers that we get that we just don't play because we don't feel like it. And, you know, there's some that we play that, you know, we probably shouldn't, but we're like, you know what? That's going to be fun. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
So
just having fun. You've also got your beautiful families at home and stuff like that, of course, right? So, it's just enjoying it is what I get the vibe from.
Yeah,
you guys,
and
right?
I said, we've been doing this for a very long time.
Yeah.
And when I was doing the solo thing, you're playing to venues with 12 people, and you're just over it.
Yeah, of course.
Time is like an important thing now.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Going to play shows to 12 people.
sorry, guys.
Yeah. You get it all out, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm like, I'm getting old, man. That's like, I gotta move around a little bit.
How old are you, John?
I just turned 40.
Man, you're looking great.
That's a lie, but thank you.
December.
Not, dude.
Oh, yeah, I'm like 40 and a half now.
40 and a half.
Yeah.
Looking great. Killing it, man.
But I'm the old one.
But I think you are actually
41.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I think that also goes back to what we were talking about in terms of a change in the music industry and how people operate, where before you had to go out and you had to put a record out and you had to just tour your fucking ass off.
Yeah.
And now you can be a little bit more selective in terms of actually cultivating bits of fan bases in certain pockets and building that up, while then also creating exposure for yourself digitally.
Yeah.
And what you can do is you can be a little bit more strategic in terms of where you're going to play and when and whatnot, where it's like, all right, you know what? We're starting to see people, like, because we can see this. We have data now. Like, you're not flying blindly.
Key.
Yeah.
Totally,
so it's like,
look, which again is a great tool, right?
Yeah.
It's a great tool for us.
We do really well in this market. It's like, we could probably go play a show there. And so we do. And it's like, yep.
Yeah,
that was great.
There's a guy that I saw on Instagram, TikTok. I think he's got Mark Sebalia, is he's called. He's a producer from Nashville. Shout out to Mark because his music is great. And
Shout
the
out,
studio
Mark.
looks amazing.
Mark,
but that was the same thing. I saw him as a producer coming up with just like producer content, and then he started sharing these like loop covers that he did. And then I seen recently he's selling out. He's had to book something like 4 nights in New York because he sold it out, and all through just TikTok and one song blowing off, and just it blows my mind. You know, it just takes that one hit and that one. You know,
well, our pals did that. Walk Off the Earth plays arenas and everything.
Yes,
they
of
just
course,
played Red Rocks
because these guys were and again, Walk Off the Earth of
905,
but Burlington, right? And but those guys started in the YouTube days, right? And they went early with YouTube.
They were early YouTube, but even going back to your loop videos, like our buddy Johnny, who's a brilliant creator and brilliant businessman too. Early days, he started doing and he's super talented too. He started doing all these like crazy loop videos and stuff like that, and really, really interesting concepts like in early YouTube days. And then obviously we all know what happened. They did the one that was,
of course,
the big one. Yeah. And they're still not only
selling
doing
out
it,
arenas.
they're doing and it's like watching how they operate and what they do. Like they're not a band and in a group that got complacent. Like they're still they're so hungry in what they do and how prolific they are with everything that they do and utilizing technology and everything like that. It's really impressive to watch.
Yeah.
And
we're terrible at social media.
Yeah, we're not good at it, but also sometimes purposely not good
Yeah,
at it.
exactly. It's tough. It can take over your life, right, if you try to do it all the time.
Well, that, and also we'll purposely do stuff that looks stupid because again, kind of goes back to
no rules,
and also we should do this, so we're gonna do the opposite.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and that's kind of the thing where it's like we started this for fun, and because we're all buds, and we're like, let's make music for the sake. Let's make some art for the sake of making some art, and it I guess kind of worked better than we thought it was going to, and but at that point it's like, well, we're not gonna change the model.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
You want us to be over here?
Well, it's rocking, guys. You know, you're racking up the streams on the new album, which is great to see. Great to see. I love listening to it. It's great music for sure. So it's, you're killing it. You're absolutely killing it.
Yeah, seeing the streams is pretty fun considering we come from the CD days. And
yeah, I can imagine.
You sold like 100 of your record, and then nobody else ever heard of it again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a total.
It wasn't for playlists though.
Like you say, it's a total different scene, really.
But that's the thing, is that is kind of how it worked out, which kind of goes back to, you got to write good enough music, and if it stands on its own two legs, there's opportunity for you, and it's kind of cool to like not just see numbers, but it's like, looking at where it's streamed. Like Canada is not our biggest market. At all.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool to kind of see how that all happens.
My favorite number is the followers.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the streams, but if somebody clicked on follow, they were like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to follow that. Let's see what's next.
Yeah, totally. We talked about this on our last episode with Don Pavic. If you've not checked that out, go and check that out, which we did last week. And
speaking of which, why did you have us follow that guy? That guy is so good at singing.
Super talented. I love
it's
the
like
song you recorded with
It's
us.
like, here's your first episode. This guy is like this vocal powerhouse, and then it's like, and then us.
Dude, you are great. Dom is great. Everybody that comes to Halo is great. Everybody that comes and records with us is
everybody.
Yeah.
Danny, give us the worst.
99%.
Who was the worst person to come?
Me.
to Halo?
I was the worst.
Come on.
Look at it. Such a politician.
Totally.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate how you're handling.
It was Travis Miles, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Who? Travis Miles. Never heard.
Shout out Travis Miles.
Penske.
Stay in the Penske file.
Yeah, Travis, come see us. No, those guys was friggin' super good. I love the sound. Zach did a great job. Super talented guy. Hoping Zach's gonna come and do a little bit of an interview with us soon as well, which is super cool. So I guess, guys.
No, we're not done.
We're not done. We're nowhere near done. I've not even started with you yet, Brandon. I've not even started with you. You've only done one cup of red Kool-Aid, which is a track off their album. You should go and listen to Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid,
it's a great tune.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, you worked on that one.
I did indeed. It was that was so fun, guys. The 3 days that you guys spent here. I feel like we started those sessions. I did not know you guys at all, and at the end, I was like,
no, you were fresh.
We're just blood brothers now.
Fresh to town.
Totally fresh to town.
Yeah.
Totally
were we the
fresh.
first ones you worked with, or?
Yeah, you were. You guys were actually the first session that. I think that I actually was left here kind of on my own to rock with. Yeah. I think you guys were. What a session to start. You guys rocked it, man. Yeah.
Like that first mix you sent. It's like a little bit of wonk, but we were very, very impressed.
Yeah.
The fact that all we had to do was come in here for like, we could have been here for like a half an hour, and it was like, bang.
Yeah,
like it was there. It was there, but then it was just like,
which is a killer intro track. Yeah, it's a total killer intro track. I love it. So you guys as Ontario veterans of the music scene, I would say, not I don't want to make it sound, you're not old yet, guys.
No,
but like
been doing
veterans,
it a very long time.
You've
not mad.
You cut your teeth.
Not mad. No.
You're like,
That's in his first band. What a sweet gig, eh?
Yeah. You've cut your
he
teeth.
never had to play Cambridge to 7 people. It's pretty fun.
Oh, dudes, I've yet to do that, man. I've yet to do that.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be my initiation to Ontario music scene, right?
Yeah. Oh fuck. Circus Room in Kitchener. I legitimately played that to 0 people.
Really?
We were the only people.
So before this, I was on cruise ships before this, so I was like rocking. So I know those gigs where you're in the corner, not kind of being listened to, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's always the decision that 2 minutes before you're saying to yourself, should we actually play this or not?
Yeah.
And you went through and played it, right? On a cruise ship, you have no choice because it's kind of like your day-to-day job, but
Yeah, you play it like you're playing 100+ people,
I played a show in Halifax one time and we didn't play it.
Yeah.
Because it was like a Sunday when we were on tour, and the show was obviously not promoted, and like the
that's
weather was really
worse.
shitty,
Yeah.
and we were like a month into the tour, like we did the U.S. and came through, and I had no voice.
Yeah.
And I remember just sitting there and looking at the guys, and like the guy behind the bar and I was like, "Do you even want us to play?" He's like, "I don't know. I'm not paying.
Yeah.
I'm not paying.
Yeah.
I'm not paying you."
God.
So and
I'm
like
not paying you.
Yeah, and so there was
Yeah.
0 people there. And we're like, "All right, fuck this."
Man.
So we're like, "Let's go get drunk in the
Yeah.
van."
Yeah.
instead.
We had
It's a good shout.
that
It's a good
in
shout.
Winnipeg,
Yeah.
and Winnipeg is very stabby.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
And we were there all day.
Does that mean it's a dangerous place?
Yeah.
Brando?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
the
be.
zombies are knocking on your van door.
Great.
All day. Place was called the Occidental Hotel. Do you remember that place?
No.
And we were there all day, waited for our show to start, and nobody's here. The doors aren't even open. We tried to call the promoter, nothing. And then we just decided it was the last show of our entire Canadian tour, Winnipeg. So we had like a 47-hour drive home or whatever the hell it was.
Wowzers, man.
Well, however long it takes to get to Winnipeg. But we just said, fuck this.
Yeah.
Let's just go. And they hadn't even opened the doors.
Yeah.
Nobody was there yet.
Wow.
It wasn't happening. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
Man, that's the true struggles of being in a band, though, right? You know, that's how you cut your teeth, I guess. Is these kind of if you can survive through doing those kind of gigs and still want to be a musician at the end, it's what pushes you through, right? You know.
I don't know if it's like a wannabe a musician anymore. Just
Yeah,
you just have to be.
I think, or maybe you kind of change your perspective of what it's all about to be a musician, I guess is my thought, you know.
I mean, I think that there's some sort of a thing that when you do it, that all like there's an emptiness that is there when you're not doing it. And
Yeah.
then when you start doing it again, you're like, fuck, why am I doing this? But then it's like, you get to a point where you're like, you know what? I'm going to stop doing this, and I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
6 months down the road, it's going to be like, I bet you want to write a song right now, and I bet you would want to think about what that sounds like recorded.
That's what happened to me when
And
this
then,
started.
yeah, and then it's like, I bet you think about playing that song at a show.
Yeah.
And then you're like, ah, shit.
Yeah.
Here we are again.
Yeah, totally.
Though, as much as I love playing live, because I do love playing shows, the thing I like the most is like writing music and then recording it. Like if I
Yeah, the studio's a fun process, right?
like
It's a fun.
making it and having it all kind of come together. Like
Mhm.
if it was like you can do that and then you're not going to play any more shows, I'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's cool.
That's kind of what the Beatles did. Getting back to the
Yeah.
Beatles, right?
Not
You know?
me.
Yeah, you like playing shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do really
Yeah.
like playing them. But like
there is that. There's nothing beats for me is when you have a great show and you've got the audience in your palm of your hands and you can tell everybody's vibing and it's just there's
I don't
not.
know what that's like.
You do, man. These guys, you played at the Corktown. For people watching that are not from Hamilton, Corktown is a great music venue in Hamilton. These guys played there a good few months ago now, but they were rocking it, man. People were begging for more there. And don't even deny
very
it, 'cause
nice
you
of you
know
to
that
say,
it's
Dave.
true.
Yeah.
You know it's true. That was a great show, man.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the studio for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how it
They
all
both
comes
serve
together,
different
but
purposes, right? They
Yeah,
both
yeah.
serve different
Yeah.
purposes.
So yeah, you would lean more live, and I don't get me wrong, I do love playing, and when you have a great show
Yeah.
and it's whatever, it's awesome. But like, I'm like an audiophile, and
I
like
got you.
I obsess over things.
Yeah.
And so when you actually hear it back, and it's exactly how you wanted it,
Yeah.
or sometimes better.
Yeah.
It's like that,
And you
like,
never know where it's going to lead in the studio as well. You never know what you're
yeah.
going to get out, right? You never. It could.
John's
sound-
also a beast in the studio too.
yes,
It's like
John is a
nonstop.
producer as well.
I
right?
can go and have a nap, but he's always behind the console, like,
hmm
if I want it.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't though, because you're there.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can find something for you to do, Brando, while you're here.
No,
you
he's
know.
right.
no,
there.
I just
He's
like to
right
push the button that says "Do it again."
Yeah,
The
yeah.
do it
totally.
again button. One more time.
Totally.
That was
the one
good
more time button.
for you.
Totally. But yeah, John, you've had your side of producing, right?
Yeah.
So I get the impression you've produced a few local bands or local
I've done,
stuff.
yeah, I've done his
Brando
couple-
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
you produce session stuff, of course.
yeah, and then the Penske File, their first kind of
Oh,
couple
nice.
of records. I did their first couple of records.
Yeah.
Ashley
Ashley
stuff.
Sloggett,
Yeah.
our good friend Ashley, who is also like should be mentioned more in terms of like being a nucleus and part of the
Yes, I
live music
should,
scene too.
Yeah.
Ashley, we need to get you on Tones.
Get
of the
her on
Hammer.
for
Yeah,
sure.
Get
she
on
doesn't.
Tones of the Hammer.
She needs to be shouted out more
Yes.
for her importance in terms of even like live shows. So her and this guy Paul Shelton started doing shows at the Burlington YMCA, and
Right.
those shows were sort of the foundational ground for your Silversteins and
Yeah.
Boys Night Outs and that whole sort of early 2000s scene.
Yeah.
And
Well, it gave kids
Wow,
a
it's
place
so
to play,
wild.
even if you
Yeah.
were in a shit
Yeah.
band in the.
So
in a high
wild
school,
that it's
you know?
all the way back to the early 2000s, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about 2002, and I was like 6 years old in 2002, man.
yeah.
You know?
So were
and
we.
here were you, yeah. And here you guys are rocking it out in Hamilton. while I
Yeah,
was
we were
shitting my pants.
we were
you know?
we were 6-year-old prodigies. Well, yeah, you
Yeah,
were
dude.
shitting in your diaper.
Yeah, totally, man.
But yeah, so Ashley and her
Yes.
band Dirty Jeans.
Yes.
Yeah,
I saw it at the Corktown again the other day for Lou
His
Molinero's
birthday.
yeah,
Yeah,
birthday
his
show?
birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was great to see. She's super talented. We'd love to have you on, Ashley. Come and
Yeah.
say
Yeah,
hey.
you
Come and
should
have a
do it.
chat.
And get her to do your pictures if you're in a band
yeah.
There you
they
go.
are
or an
also really
artist
good.
or an actor,
you go.
whatever.
Yeah,
Because that's what it's about as well. Is I think the thing that I love since I moved to Hamilton, I just love the kind of community spirit in a way that
Yeah.
kind of goes off in this area. And again, I know you guys are more Toronto and Mississauga, but there's a big like, I just think everybody.
Well, we are now. But
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
is our musical community. Here,
I got
right?
you.
But as
Yeah.
far as what's going on in Hamilton right now, I'm
Mhm.
definitely not super dialed in.
Right. Yeah.
Benny's probably the guy to talk to
Yeah.
about like what's happening there.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ben's always kind of been like
Totally.
a nucleus of live
Yeah.
and local music.
Yeah.
And knows everybody. And
Yeah, that's what we mentioned.
wonderful man.
Yeah, we mentioned this the last interview with Dom as well. Yeah, Ben is because of course when I saw you guys at the Courtown, that was Ben's festival, right?
Yeah.
Ben and Jesse.
Yeah, Ben and
Jesse
Jesse's,
too. Jesse
festival.
by also.
And did I see that you're playing another festival of theirs soon?
We are
We are.
Yeah,
when
so-
is that? September
20th.
September 20th,
At
Vertigogo, right?
Vertigo.
Belvedere.
Vertigogo.
Yeah, Belvedere and Authority Zero.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that'll
go
be
check
fun
that
too.
out.
Because Authority Zero, Ryan did all of their records, and I met. So I my last band before this band, Bombing Neverland. We got to do a record with this famous producer Ryan Green. He did
Nice.
all of like the NoFX records,
Yeah.
Noise for Name, and Fat Records bands and stuff. And he liked our band, so we did our record, and him and I became really good friends and started collaborating a lot. And he's actually who taught me how to produce, and
Nice.
how to engineer and stuff like that. And Authority Zero, which is one of the bands that we're playing with, is a band that he produced a large chunk of their records, if not all of them or most of them.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were down doing that record with him, we met Jason, the lead singer, and he was hanging out with us and whatever. And we were like, that's how we kind of knew it was like, oh man, yeah, this guy works with NoFX or whatever. And we're like, oh shit, this dude in Authority Zero, they're a big punk band.
Yeah.
He's just like hanging out in the studio and like going out for drinks with us after. We're like, this is wild. I haven't seen him since. That was in like 2007.
Yeah.
So I haven't said anything, but I'm going to definitely FaceTime Ryan with Jason while we're playing the show to be like,
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but actually, that was a spoiler alert, I guess.
That's it,
Ryan, you're probably not going to watch this.
He's
anyway.
not going to watch this. We're still in the infancy here at Tones of the Hammer, so he might catch this after the show. So you might
Yeah.
be in luck there. You might be in luck.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's going to be a good show. Belvedere's
Yeah.
Belvedere. They're
I'm excited.
ridiculously
My
good.
my mum and dad are coming over when the show's on for 3 weeks.
Get outta here.
So I might drag them down for like a song. They're not much. Dad used to be a punk rocker in the day. He used to listen to
Yeah.
the Clash and all that. But I'll take some earplugs so they just don't get deafened and then just.
We're a lot
watch them.
popular than the
Yeah,
Clash,
that
though.
is true. That is true.
We are a pop band.
Totally.
We are
totally.
a rock band with a pop punk twist.
Yes.
I mean,
Pop
there it is.
Pop
Little squeeze of
inspired,
lemon.
Punk inspired.
A little nipple twist.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the perfect amount of nipple twist. You know?
It's pop, like it's poppy though. Like I think when like going back to
your tune.
talking about the creative process and stuff
Yeah.
like that too. Like I think we're like one of the things that we've learned over the years of being in bands and whatnot is like at this point, like this band's all about kind of playing to your strengths.
Yeah.
You know, neither of us are like, in like shredding guitar players and stuff like that. But like, we can sing and we can sing harmonies and we can write catchy melodies.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's center the songs around that. and then we can write cool music around that sort of fills the rest of the sound around the vocal melody.
Yeah,
like
totally.
it's very much. Would you agree with that? It's very much vocal melody first.
Yeah, but you need to give yourself more credit
no,
for guitar.
no.
Yeah, I tell you what, my favorite solo is, and you should all go and listen to it. Is on, is it on Dissimulator?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Dissimulator, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I freaking love that thing.
Thanks.
I'm biased because it was the session where we recorded. But on that note, my favorite song is "Sorry Not Sorry." I can't get that thing out of my head. Literally, I think it's
Thanks, dude.
so catchy. Literally.
Well, we started when we like, I guess we were still working on songs, but
Yeah.
the first two songs that we tracked together were that one and Eat Your Tail. And I think the reason why we tracked them is we were like, I think these might be the best songs, because it's like, if you're a new band, it's like swing with your best foot forward.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But then I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah. Eat Your Tail has never been my favorite song.
I love that tune though.
I know
that
you do.
that was the one like that you started playing that I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to dig into this song.
I think I'm gonna pretend this year.
You like batch 2? You're batch 2
Batch
guy?
2,
You're
yeah.
batch 2 guy.
Second batch.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, unfortunately, Danny, you worked on the worst batch, in our opinion.
Well, I beg to differ. I beg to differ.
He likes
I
the
love-
Dissimulator song.
Yeah.
I like Dissimulate. I like Kool-Aid as well. I love that that's got like it's two different sections sort of thing. You know, it's I don't expect it to go where it's going.
Yeah,
the first time
that's
I heard
also
it.
like the very different sounding. You play Dissimulator and then it goes right into
Yeah.
Kool-Aid, which is completely different than
Yeah.
Sorry. You know,
And that's the thing, yeah, with Kool-Aid as well. I think Kool-Aid's such a different song as well in the record, because I think the start of it is quite. It just reminds me a little bit "Come As You Are" Nirvana vibes with
Moody.
the chorus on the
Yeah.
guitar and all that sort of stuff, and then the end is like.
yeah. Once you get into the
Yeah.
driving part, the
It's like a big, totally like big Linkin Park tune or something. I don't know, you know. So
Well, and I think like we started like with the songs that are kind of like, you know, this is
Yeah.
like sort of the centerpiece of what the band sounds
Yeah.
like, and then from there, when you kind of get a vibe for what we do, it allows us a lot more space to then be like, we can go over here now, we can go over here, we can go like the new stuff that we're working on.
Yeah.
It's even like more all over the place. Like
sick.
I'm writing like my stuff's really, really, really poppy, and your stuff's almost heavier.
The ones we jammed the other
Yeah.
night were definitely heavier, but I have like a super poppy song that's
You do,
not,
yeah.
that's not like me.
But I think it'll be more extremes, but then we'll kind of be able to do it because it will still all center around the vocals.
yeah,
And that was kind of the one thing that we thought about too, is we have like both of us are really different sounding singers, but can kind of complement each other.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think kind of makes us sound a little bit distinct in in the space that we're in.
yeah,
So we want to play that up even more.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that we're both writing, it's like way more of each other on each other's songs.
Great.
And just
yeah,
and using that as kind of even more of an instrument and like not a genre, but like defining us as our sound.
So it sounds like really that Sessions is only just getting going at the minute. You know, there's no signs of we're taking a break or we're just getting
I mean,
going,
we could
which is
only
exciting.
speed up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
totally.
right. Yeah.
Could really play.
Well, it sounds like you don't have a problem bringing out songs and
No.
like
No,
No.
Not
we'll be back.
releasing
We'll be back
songs.
at Halo. In,
yeah, but even just
by
like writing
September,
songs, it sounds
Yeah,
like
definitely.
the songbook's not gone dry yet, sort of thing. You know, the song pool's still.
no.
No, that's actually part of our problem though, is like
It's
even
hard to choose songs, right?
well, yeah, and even from like our last batch, like there's like 4 or 5 tunes that we didn't track that we really like.
yeah,
But you sort of like you kind of lean towards like, all right, we feel like these are the
yeah,
and I think we'll
Everybody agrees they're the best.
yeah.
yeah,
And maybe there's some that we'll bring over later. And,
Yeah.
You know, if we start putting up bigger bodies of work too,
Yeah.
that makes it easier. Or maybe we also start doing more like little EPs within albums and stuff like that.
Love it, man. Yeah.
But
That's super cool. Like, you know, it's so cool to see this last again with Dom on the last episode. Dom was the same. He said he came with like 20 songs and he had to decide to record, I don't know, like 7 tunes or so. And I find that so amazing. This is what I mean. Meeting all you amazing musicians here in Hamilton. It's so, you know, it's so refreshing to see people that are just bursting with songs and again, what we were talking about before we started recording, John, is the fact of like not overthinking it. Just get it out there, man. Just somebody's gonna love it. Somebody's gonna like it.
Yeah.
Totally. It's so refreshing and it's great to see. Yeah.
It definitely helps to be in a band where the other guy writes too.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Because you
super
can all
helpful.
show up with the 5 songs. Each has 5 songs that everyone in the band agrees on.
Yeah.
There's your record.
Yeah. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
When you're writing a whole full length by yourself, or you're the sole songwriter.
Yeah.
That's great when you're on album 1 and maybe album 2, but then especially if you have to keep cranking things out quickly, it's like that's a lot to put on one person.
Totally. Yeah.
And we don't have to do that, so
No,
that's great.
That's why the new record will be out.
Yeah. We're gonna
January.
If you like our new record, just wait until we put out
Volume 2.
Yeah, we erase it and then put out the next single in September.
We'll bootleg it.
There you go.
We'll leak it or something.
It'll be live from Halo. Danny will be just live streaming it, being like, "Here it is."
Danny, why don't you just mix what we just did, and those will be the next 2 songs?
Man.
That'll buy us like 4 months.
Totally,
That'd be
dude.
good.
Totally. Buying time. Call it buying time. That's
Buying
what
time,
we say.
yeah.
Good
Well,
EP name.
and we want to do all those things, like we want to, like I used to always be like, like nobody cares enough about our bands, like we shouldn't do acoustic stuff or whatever, but like the thing is going back to what we talked about in terms of like feeding demand and continuing to put out more content. It's like, well, while we're working on the next sort of proper release, it's like, we can quickly go bang out some acoustic versions of our songs and then put them out.
Yeah, because
whatever.
I said this to you guys when we were planning this live session. You guys, it amazes me actually when you listen to the record how amazing it actually translates to. I think this year that you recorded, it was this year that you just recorded. This year that you just recorded, it translates so well acoustically. It sounds beautiful. Yeah,
it's funny though because you mentioned this where it's like all of our songs were written acoustically, and I find like a song like this year, like the opening of it's like certainly the heaviest part of the record.
That's exact. Well, I think that's why I thought, this year I don't know how it's going to translate acoustically, but what have you done?
Yeah, we just took that heavy part out.
That's it.
All right, okay.
Started on the first verse.
Yeah,
but I think that's a good example of like when you have an idea and then like you bring it to the band and then you start to add different things to it or whatever. Like maybe you had that opening riff too.
So initially I was playing the opening riff, and then we decided that I was playing the opening riff, and then you came in with the and then we just switched. Like,
We flipped it.
you play that one, I'll play this one.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. I don't know where we were going with that tangent, but yes, they work acoustically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
Just go and watch their live sessions, guys. There's so much talent here. And I just want people to see how talented you are. That's the thing.
Doesn't the
Thanks,
live
man.
session play right after this, or are they 2 separate
do they do?
things?
They are
They're
two
separate,
separate things.
yeah.
Maybe, you know what? Let's put a flash in right
You should throw
now.
it right in the middle.
Yeah, we'll put a flash in right now so you can see what the sessions guys played and how amazing they were. So again, when I have been launching Tones of the Hammer, basically we're talking all about Hamilton and this kind of, I know the pandemic's 4 years ago now, but I think the world's getting used to post-pandemic kind of vibes, So you guys, we've talked about you guys being veterans on the scene, you've been in bands, you're now doing your thing. What do you guys think is kind of if you guys are in charge of running like Hamilton's music scene, surrounding areas and such, what do you think, or what advice would you give to artists? What do you think could be better on the scene in order to make it more like, continue this vibrance or pick things up a little bit?
You go first. I've got one.
Did
I
you
love it. Love it. You're ready to go. I love it.
Did you say running or ruining?
I heard
Both.
ruining
Yeah.
as well.
Both.
Ruining, yeah.
Both.
I have a lot to say about ruining it.
Okay.
No.
This is
I'm
a
joking.
master plan.
I'm gonna just throw it. I'll throw it random.
Yeah.
Nobody agrees with me in my band or other bands,
Yeah.
but all ages shows need to start happening way more.
Say again. All ages.
All ages shows.
Right. And
I agree with you that they do. I just don't think we have any business playing them.
in terms of all ages shows, what do you mean? Like more bands that appeal to all ages, or
Well, first off, there's got to be a venue like we had in the YMCA that
Right.
Ashley and Paul ran.
right? And for anybody that wasn't there, what was it about it, Brandon, that like made it?
Every school
Yeah.
back in those days, way more kids like our kind of music. But now
Yeah.
it's probably like 5 or 6 kids in every school. Maybe it's more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Love this type of music, but they have nowhere to go see it.
Mhm.
And
And do you mean just for like punk rock music sort of thing,
or rock, whatever? Like, it doesn't. Shows don't have to be the same genre either.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially now, people are like,
fuck yeah, especially now.
jump like all
What
over
an
the
amazing,
place in terms
what an
of
amazing way
everything
to
that they love.
open people up to new bands that they never might think they wouldn't like,
Mhm.
and it could be a great way to introduce people like that, I guess.
So the issue is not having a venue that will allow kids in as well as old fucking idiots like us.
I gotcha. Yeah.
You do wonder though, not to cut you off, but if they did have a venue for that to happen, if more kids would start to get even interested in it, because like it just takes like one person's friend band to go up and everybody's like, oh, that was wicked.
Yeah.
And then now I want
Yeah.
to start a band, and then
But also the business side of running shows.
Yeah,
and
so
stuff like that.
this is what we touched on last week, and I'm trying to ask each guest that comes on, sort of thing. And I think it's the contrast between I've never ran a music venue or a bar before, so I don't know the ins and outs of what it takes and what the overheads and stuff are for this kind of thing. But again, our last guest Dom mentioned all about like just paying bands enough to make it a viable sort of, a viable option. Why, if they're bringing people down, that they should be paid a share of it. I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
well, I mean, when we were younger and we were kids, none of us got paid for shows.
Yeah,
We wanted to play shows to be a part of that
the scene.
narrative.
Yeah,
And I also don't even think those shows cost money. I think they were free.
Mm,
The YMCA ones? Or they were like
yeah, I
$3
think
or $5
whatever
or-
money went into the kitty from people
Yeah.
showing up went back into the YMCA so that they could pay for mics that Alexis broke,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
or pay for the mic stands.
Yeah.
But yeah, like nobody got paid. If you got $50 to fill your van to get to Oakville, like that was sick.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So they should count themselves lucky, these artists these days. That they
well,
can-
you know what? It's like I get it. Like when you're a bit older and you're trying to make a run at it
Yeah.
and trying to make a career at it, yeah, it does cost money to be going out and being on the road and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like, I think when you're younger and you're really trying to be a part of a scene and paying your dues, like it's not about money
Yeah.
anyway. It's about being a part of that community and then getting the opportunity to be able to play a show and play
Yeah.
in front of people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if those jaded assholes disagree, then you're wrong.
It's a fair point. Straight from the horse's mouth,
No,
guys.
I joke. No. Like, trust me.
Yeah.
It's a really tough.
Yeah.
It's a really tough gig out.
And it
you know.
becomes a hard realization, I
Yeah.
think, when because I think everybody's guilty of it in a teenage years or younger years, where you think as soon as you start your band or your project, whatever you're doing, I remember when I started writing tunes, I thought I was going to be the next Ed Sheeran straight away, and I think
Yeah.
it soon like sets in that
Well, you've got the talking voice.
yeah,
you
the
do.
talking
The accent.
voice. Yeah, he's a bit
First
more
step.
southern than me. A bit southern.
You
Bit
dye your hair
London, yeah.
blonde. Do you have blonde
Yeah, ginger. Yeah, I could. You used to be a lot more ginger actually at
Okay.
one point in my life,
Let's
but
see your pubes.
yeah. This let's change this kind of show right now, guys.
Anyway, more all ages shows or any all ages shows.
Right,
So
okay,
that those
that's-
6 kids in every high school have somewhere to go see
That's
music.
interesting. I've not heard that kind of concept before, Brandon. To be fair, so maybe that's a point. So,
Well-
do you share that kind of incentive, John?
I disagree with him saying that we need to play all ages shows,
I
but
gotcha.
I agree with what he's saying
Yeah.
in terms of needing all
So
ages venues for people to play.
Is that so? So you guys, you guys now, you got families and young kids and stuff. Does that stop you? Do you think that sort of thing stops you going to shows? Is it? Are you talking about? You mean in the fact of like you guys would, make it more a family occasion, or do you mean that it's more just like younger teenagers being allowed into venues as such?
or having a venue that
So-
teenagers can go
Right,
play
okay.
at, right?
I
Church
gotcha.
hall. We used to go to shows at church halls. And
Right.
There was you weren't allowed to have booze or anything like
No.
that.
Right. Okay.
You drink in
Interesting.
the parking lot.
You drank
Yeah,
in
of
the
course.
van.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like every rock and roll star does.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
yeah.
every rock and roll star does.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree with him on
Mhm.
needing venues and locations for kids to be able to go do
Yeah.
that, because that's why it's, well, now, like, people ask, they're like, well, why don't people play in bands anymore? Because there's nowhere for people to play, so people make bedroom music, like like bedroom
Mhm.
pop or hip hop and stuff like that, because
Which comes back to the
they can
TikTok thing and all that. Yeah.
well, there's that, but they can do it in their room
Yeah.
because they have nowhere else to play.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, that's what I have. I don't have the space to go.
Interesting.
know?
Okay.
They
Yeah.
also just do it by themselves.
Yeah.
Well, there's that too.
You can learn how to play anything on YouTube, so that kids in high school are not getting together and
Yeah.
joining a band. Just the one kid on TikTok can play 15 different things
It's pretty
and
impressive.
record it himself. It's
what they can do.
awesome.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But imagine if that kid was in a band with the drummer who
Totally.
films sick TikToks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds like a pitch that you need to make as Uncle Brandon.
Well, you're the
Heck
business
yeah.
man.
That's
Heck
your
yeah.
idea, bro.
Guys,
Yeah.
we could be onto something here.
There
We
you
could be
go.
onto
Yeah.
something
There you
here.
go.
It
I don't know,
could
that's my
revolutionize.
thought, but what?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Anything more from that yourself, John?
I mean, I think it's just
As an insider, to you have a view, you have an insight into how the industry's been shaped and all that sort of stuff. Is there anything to young artists you'd advise? And anyway?
I think it goes back to, I mean, don't compromise your artistic integrity
Yeah.
for attempted success. Kids and the general public, because they're consuming so much content,
Yeah.
can see through when it's not authentic.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot more than you could before. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of other people that will argue, because they'll be like, well, listen to some of these big songs that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no substance to it and whatnot. But it's like, I think if you do actually listen to them, there is a lot that goes into them.
And and even if there's not, sometimes I think different people consume music for different reasons.
For
I
sure.
know that there's been a bit of a criticism, again, back to Sabrina Carpenter, about espresso, the fact that it's a sample that she's made espresso around, but it's like, for how
Every rap song ever.
yeah,
samples in
exactly,
hip-hop.
and it's like, and it's a great tune, it's catchy as hell, and
Well,
people
and
have
it-
latched onto it,
Well, and if you can be creative with, recreating something that's already out
Totally.
there, that's still creativity.
Totally.
you
And
know?
I'm sure the guy that made the sample, Olivier, or whatever his name is very happy at the
Yeah,
fact
he just
that
bought a house. He's
Yeah,
fine.
Well, he's
exactly.
more than a house at this point.
yeah, definitely.
And then the other thing I would say is, to sort of piggyback on what Brandon was saying, whether there's actual venues for people to go play in, whether they're younger artists or they're of age where they can go play in licensed establishments, don't worry about what your end goal is per se. Try to make achievable goals. Like, let's play a show. Let's play 10 shows this year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to be able to get 20 people out to come see us play. Like, all of those things, when they are reachable goals, it makes the process a lot more rewarding when you hit that. But B, it's, it also contributes to creating something that's sometimes bigger than just you as an artist, where what it does is it starts to create a network and a fan base, and who knows who you'll meet through music because of that. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, this guy's been like, we've been like best friends for like almost 30 years, and we probably wouldn't have if there wasn't for a musical network that we were able to tap into.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Definitely
So
not.
the value,
You played hockey, I played baseball.
yeah, exactly. So it's like the value that those things can create, like directly in music, but then also that can give back to you in your life, are hugely valuable, because ultimately, life is it's all about the relationships
Yeah,
that you have.
totally.
Right?
Totally.
If you don't have that, you're
Mm.
just
Even
waiting to die
I
alone.
found that, especially myself, even since landing in Canada, it's all about getting to know people, and how you learn from each other, and everybody can help
Yeah.
each other out in some sort of way. That's the thing. It's
Absolutely.
it's definitely an incredible way of networking. Yeah.
Well, and look at you, man. You came over here by yourself, and now look at you.
Here I am chatting to sessions, man.
Fucking hanging out with a bunch of randoms,
Nah, man.
working at this beautiful studio.
Totally. Big
Shout
shout out to Marconi
Shout
for
out Marconi.
Shout out
letting us
Marconi.
do this. It's an incredibly beautiful place. I recommend
The best.
anybody.
Should we play the country festival that he does?
Yeah.
You could just
No, we
redo-
could just play acoustic and
let's-
pretend it's
yeah.
country.
Well, you have to
Totally.
sing all of them
Yeah.
now.
No,
That's a shout out, Boots in the Creek,
Too
coming
old
up
for that shit.
16th and 17th
Yeah,
of August
it's way too
in
hard.
Stony Creek. Go and check it out if you're around and in town. It's a great
There you go.
weekend. Well, all right, fellas. So before we go, then what's the plan then for sessions? So we've got the new album out. Have we got any shows? We mentioned the show. Any shows coming up apart from this one? What's the plan? When's the next album? What's happening?
We are open to playing more shows. Just hit us up and we'll see if we want to play them.
Great,
Yeah.
Great sell there,
But
bro. Great sell there.
we've got the vinyl coming out.
Yeah, we have vinyl.
Do you buy
Nice.
vinyl? Do you want it? We got it.
Totally.
Well, come Hamilton.
Yeah.
This is a Hamilton specific thing. September 20th, Vertigo, some great punk rock bands.
Yeah.
Jesse Buys and Ben Rissman's Festival. We'll have vinyl. Come say hi.
Yeah.
We'll hang out, and it'll be fun.
Great.
And you know what? Maybe we'll even play a new song or two at that show.
We're gonna need to jam.
I know.
Very
Well,
exciting.
probably because we have to play. We'll probably have to play more than 7 songs.
Yeah, we
So
definitely 1 or 2, probably 2.
yeah,
Yeah.
we should do it. It
2 new,
sounds- yeah,
2 new songs.
2 new songs.
Two
You'll get a
new
sneak
songs.
preview of album 2,
Yes. Yes.
and we
Which
may
is-
even do a cover of "A Little Help" with my friends by the Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones.
Sean will
version.
play that on piano. by
Yeah.
himself.
There we go.
Interesting.
No,
Okay.
Rick and Matt. It's a solo performance.
Yeah. Big shout out to Rick and Matt as well that
Yeah.
couldn't be here tonight.
Yeah,
we would
we had
love
planned
to have you guys.
For
We
Matt,
need a bigger couch, man. We need a bigger couch.
we had planned for Matt to do all the talking tonight,
Yeah,
Ah, damn
and then
it,
he
Matt.
bailed.
Matt,
yeah. I think that was by design.
don't worry, Matt. Rick, we'll get you guys on
Yes.
the bros on the couch, and we'll
That's
just
right.
we'll just chat shit, I guess, and just whatever comes out, really. So
I think it'd be interesting.
yeah,
Rick is a really, really interesting dude to talk to.
really.
Yeah,
Is he like a special agent or something?
kind of.
Okay,
Like in a number
okay.
of different ways.
Right. Okay.
Matt too, but Matt's quiet.
Yeah.
Matt's a man of few words. Rick is. You'd be surprised. And,
Okay.
like how fluent he is in very, very random spaces. Like
All right. I thought you were going to say languages, but
no,
Yeah.
well, kind of in like comic culture. That's like its
All
own
right.
language.
okay.
But yeah, you should do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Rick,
you should
Matt, get your
Just
asses
have Rick
down.
on one episode and just have Matt on the other.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe they all smoke weed or something. That might make it more interesting or something.
Matt smokes a lot of weed.
They'll do
so-
their solo acoustic.
Man,
Yeah.
it'd just be Matt talking on his own, because I'm sure I'd just be collapsed on this couch on my own. So we got the show on the 20th of September. Be sure to check that out, guys, if you're in Hamilton or the surrounding areas. And guys, I guess just thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're busy gentlemen with one thing or the other, so we much appreciate coming down and having a chat.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
No
Absolutely. Yeah, this is
problem. No problem. Guys, don't forget to subscribe and be sure to check out the next episode of Tones of the Hammer. Be sure to follow Sessions on everything. Where should we check your music out? Check you out, guys. Where can we follow
Follow
you?
us on Spotify mostly.
Spotify.
Instagram's fine.
Or an Apple.
Or Apple, yeah.
Yeah, or
Apple,
YouTube,
yeah.
or Amazon.
Yeah,
All of the places.
all the places.
Wherever you consume your music digitally, give us a follow.
Definitely catch
Yeah.
the train because it's moving from the station fast. They are rocking it, guys.
You're
Don't
too
forget
kind.
to subscribe. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Tones of the Hammer. We will see you on the next episode. See you later, guys.